Greetings, I'm joining us. That's broadcast. I have to do this fast before the cats tear down the background. They've tried several times already today. And imagine if you're doing something, like on the phone or something, and they go and tear that thing apart. It's like, come on. So, yeah, it's like World War III with that thing. So the other one I just left on the floor. So I'm not going to put that one up. I was asking for trouble if I put it back up. They have to lose the interest in it. So far, it's not happening right just yet. I have boxes over here too. I stack them up and put a towel over it, then I knock everything down. That's kind of the point, though. So, so this is a fifth dimensional multiverse, Archon family, and healing Metatron. So today I got a little bit sidetracked on questions because my mom is in the hospital today due to what's going on right now, the whole virus situation. So depending on how this goes, I could go further into all of that, but the timing of it's kind of interesting. So either way, it's been kind of a little bit rough. Not that rough, far from that rough, but depending on how this goes, I can go more into it. So we're going into next. I do a little bit of an update, so I didn't get to answer questions that much. I mean, I did the best I could, but I didn't get to rest like I normally do, or at least try to. Since I'm taught at home, 5 sessions. We have a shop here. I'm at 1 to 31st. So I'm not too bad. I'll be able to catch up tomorrow. Same situation here. Webinar behind the scenes and dating site. So, all right. So I'm not sure how much channeling I'll do. We'll see how it goes. So for fifth dimensional multiverse. So where we're heading into more of a, you can say 4 or 5D reality where all this control, it's not giving it power anymore. It slowly kind of loses its strength here. You might be seeing it now. Just manipulations are not as strong as they used to be. That's the idea. It's just not falling. Not that many people that are in their awakening really were too involved anyway. But it does feel like more of the effects of, where we're heading into more of a, we are kind of going to a time of chaos, but doesn't mean it has to affect you. So, of course, as more people become more fifth dimensional or higher than that, this world obviously looks down upon it. At least the belief system here. There's no secret space program. There's no if your soul is connecting to it, that's healthy to connect to it, who you are, and not letting this world, people here telling you what to think. So those that are telling you what to think, even if they are spiritual, they're not quite there yet. The secret space are just not there yet, or maybe never be there. And there's a possibility of that too, especially if this reality is working for them. They're successful here. They got relationship, everybody looks like a supermodel or whatever. What do they need all this multi-dimensional reality stuff for? What for? What's the point of it? And they'll find every way in their mind to shut it down. So, this is just inevitable that we're basically going multi-dimensional, and it's going to be part of reality over time. These conversations, people connecting more, and just build upon each other as we shift out of this. Whenever that happens, that's definitely going to happen fast. It's just, because a lot of even my channeled energies are really about, the higher dimensions, of course, but it's hard to relate to what's connecting there to what's happening here. So, Of course, they have the California thing, the recall. Now, I'm not sure the results, but man, they really are pushing for the. They're really pushing for the governor to win this. So, yeah, there might be a lot of manipulation going on there. I wouldn't be surprised. It's hard to say, but they're really pushing for the governor to win. So, obviously. Election fraud, I don't see now. At least at this point, I don't see it getting much attention. They're trying everything they can to cover it up, of course. So obviously, it's nothing new there. But once again, the multiverse energies, it's kind of like being on ayahuasca, but you're not on ayahuasca. You know, they're over there doing something. If you hear anything in the background, it's them looking for something to play with. But yeah, just basically seeing multi versions of yourself or people or other realities, but this reality just isn't as strong as it used to be, at least in your own reality. Of course, it's here, it's dense energy, but has obviously a lot of mind control connected to it. Obviously. Well, it's a program. It's multi-dimensional programs, I guess. You can put it that way, just to keep us shut down here. So, of course, people that those that are even powerful in the spiritual community are going to do everything they can to shut this down, because not all of them are here to help people go multi-dimensional, connect with themselves. They might say they are, but are they really? So there's a lot of that going on. And eventually that will come into the light, but maybe not. Some people aren't ready to see that. I mean, this is multi-aware manipulation. So if it's like in your warm and fuzzy spiritual group and you find out something else going on there, that hurts because it's kind of like a family, right? So yeah, it's a little bit, it's a difficult road we're heading into. Archon family, of course, who hasn't been one of those? I know I've been in one of them. I am in one of them. Control your mind, shut down your any self-esteem or whatever it might be. It doesn't mean it's every family member, but at least it takes one to make it go and manipulate the rest of the family or whatever it might be. And so, especially if you're awakened to these abilities, or at least awakened to possibility of this type of, the spiritual awakening, within yourself. Obviously, going to have family members that are here to shut it down any way they can. Obviously, when you're growing up. So it gets complicated with that, but we're tapping those frequencies. Yeah, that's, geez. Yeah, where do you start with that one? Well, it really, you have wars in Iraq and stuff, but what about the family war? How do you heal something like that, especially when nobody wants to stop fighting? Well, some people might want to, but others don't. So a lot of times, obviously it's not worse. Well, I guess it is in some regard. Depends on how you look at it. And if you can't talk to your own family, what is that? If you can't just be open with your own family, it's like, what kind of family is this? It's a mind control family. It's an Archon family. Or, because reptilians use Archon manipulations and so forth. Well, at least we'll be able to, that's what the awakening is about, is identifying it. And it's complicated. What are they doing now? And also healing Metatron. I was going to say Metatron healing, but there are stories of people not trusting Metatron. And I'm not going to channel Metatron. Metatron's okay at certain times, but I'm not going to channel him here. Because he gets, because of the cube, and the cube is part of our reality, manipulating our reality. Which is how you look at it. Some people have positive connections to Metatron, some people have negative. And I think the negative is very real. So now you can say that's another version of Metatron. You can say whatever you want. Metatron doesn't exactly have the best track record. I channeled him years ago because it wasn't recently. I felt like he lost his power. He wasn't the same guy. it's like it was so bizarre. It's just like he lost faith in himself. So strange. So, you know, yeah, that's kind of like a mixed bag with Metatron. There's some people love him, or other people are kind of just notice something else going on with him. And there is. I mean, part of him is connected to the lower realms, where he is the lower realms, or is part of our he's part of our reality manipulating it. What's what I'm gathering there. So connected to the Book of Enoch, yeah, but yes and no. That's a tricky subject matter. So overall, but if you don't feel comfortable around Metatron, there's a reason for it. Or whatever you feel. If you feel a positive flying, go for it. If you feel like it's not, I mean, if you feel like it's clear, then no problem. But if you feel like there's something there that's not right, probably because there is something there that's not right. That's what makes all this very confusing and complicated. If you can't trust the archangel energies, of course, some people will say that's a program and whatever. And that might be true to a certain extent, but it's different ways of looking at it. It's all in your point of view also at the same time. So it's complicated. So fifth dimensional multiverse. Tap into those frequencies and go forward. Archon stuff. Yeah, we'll just see. Metatron. Well, I'm not sure if I can channel an angel for that one. I'm not sure. Does anyone? We'll see. Something else might come through instead. Kind of like let that whole Metatron thing kind of do its thing and just stay away from it. He's just, it's feel like there's a lot of tricks or energies around him. So, of course, it's around everything, but some things don't add up with him. And strangely enough, I felt like even bringing this up. I've known about it for a while, but I never really brought it up. This is the first time I actually brought it up. So, interesting. Like I said, there is a positive aspect of him that can be tapped into, but not always. Okay. Let's see, fifth dimensional multiverse. Okay. All right. Yeah, they're running around like they lost their minds. Hopefully, they don't tear down the background. Man, when they start doing that, it's just, just start picking on it. Just luckily they're, yeah. Okay. All right. Blessings. Greetings. We are the consciousness of the fifth dimension. Yes, it is true. Some souls, they want to own spirituality. They want to define it by their own description. So their version of it is like the news. The news manipulates the news. So some spiritualists are manipulating spirituality. But it's not seen that way. Now, is it? It is, oh, you're spiritual. You must be good. There's a lot of that going on, of course. But as you unlock more of the layers, you see some of the larger spiritual groups are there actually to cause harm. Well, it's similar to media propaganda. It's how they see it. And usually they're giving enough funds and and attractiveness to a certain extent. But it's up to you to discover what is best for you. Yeah, so a hijacking of spirituality is nothing new. You see how it happened to the Bible. So the Bible at one time was actually quite positive. It was actually an activator. Now it's more of a deactivator. Of course, it all depends on you. Some can activate it. It's a spell book. It's just a book of spells. It's not always seen that way, but it is. It's seen as stories, no matter if you believe them or not, are still ingrained into your society. And you're using certain ways of the words that you use to describe it. which is also a spell. Now, some preachers heal that frequency. I mean, they talk about it, but they word it in their way so they don't get manipulated by it. It gets kind of complicated, doesn't it? Well, the multiverse gets even extremely more. Well, you see other versions of yourself more clearly. And that can be overwhelming at a third dimensional level, but some of you actually are doing it, and there's different realms where that occurs. The 5D frequencies, of course, there are several others. But the 5D is basically kind of like a grounding, a fifth dimensional grounding for you to go to the next level. Basically, it's opening up a doorway so that you can ease into it. You become more familiar with it. How can you move into the fifth dimension if you're not used to it? Now, some of you are to a certain extent, but it's not really part of your everyday life. I mean, you can, of course, wear very clothes that are very bright if you want to. Of course, I can take you to the sixth or seventh dimension. Some people wear gray clothes to cool themselves down. It's like, okay, I was going to get to the higher dimensions, but it's like, I think I'm doing too much. So it's all in their clothing that has to do with their energy frequency. Of course, that's part of it. So, I mean, think about pink flamingo. What dimension is that one at? You start walking around like a pink flamingo. I mean, first off, the shape of that bird, the whole bird compared to other birds, yes, is definitely a higher dimensional being to look like that. It still has a good attitude towards people, too. But that bird, flamingos are very connected to Archon beings. Of course, they're connected to multi-dimensional beings, but very Archon at the same time. It's like yes, we're talking about the flamingo now. Well, the flamingo is kind of like a welcoming frequency. It's not there to judge. You'd be surprised how many birds are judging. The flamingo so into itself is not really there to notice anyone else. What bird are you? Obviously, most of you have had bird incarnations, for better or for worse. An animal incarnation can set you back. Oh, I'm making all this progress, and you incarnate as a feline being, all of a sudden you're obsessed with yourself, and you forget about everybody else. It does happen. So the ascension energies are not as cut and dry as some people might think. It can be easily hijacked. Obviously, many are avoiding that, but not always realizing the layers of those that say they're spiritual. They're very large in their groups, but what are they doing exactly? Is it actually lowering the vibrations? You'd be surprised. Is for you to discover this. So this is how the fifth dimension comes. Now, are you going to believe it or not? That's the other thing. Yes, of course. Who's going to believe that? Yes, one that is you've given trust to, and you come to find out they're giving you. It's like a trap, and healing that trap isn't easy. But that's what you're here for. If you feel a comfort in your spiritual growth, you don't feel anything strange around, most likely you're fine. As long as you do a couple of scans on that, maybe even every day. Depends on who you are at this moment. Or where you are in the world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fit with everyone. What's this? Greetings to you. We are Tyrians. Blessings. Many of your families, yes, or all your families, not everyone's, but some are very ancient from other worlds. So I think your family lineage just goes to this planet. Obviously, you have your galactic family energy, your soul family. But how many are actually seeing what world it actually goes to? And what played out on that world to begin with? To even get you here. To make these agreements, there must have been some kind of connection somewhere. It might not always make itself clear, but we believe it will start making clear for somebody. The Archon family, or families that get lost, some are doing it on purpose to see for your awakening. It's like we'll just be shut down and lost, and we'll help you evolve. You'd be surprised how popular that is. Not that they're faking, it's just that they chose that path of darkness. It's like, you know what? If I get dark, I'm going to be really hard on you. Do you want that? And it's up to you to say yes or no. It's not might be the easiest thing to hear. But if you start to see your family for what it is, see if you're having a lot of problems, you feel like it's like not that you're the cause. It's like, am I just here just to learn from everyone? Well, it's like, well, yes, on multiple levels, a deeper connection what your average human would go through. Doesn't mean I have to spend a lot of time on it, but realize there's a multi-dimensional connection. Well, the Archon families, of course, all that has to do with the food and water that's programmed into society to keep humans isolated. Of course, the architecture has a lot to it also. It's like some of these buildings are from other worlds that have been manipulated. Some of these structures are from other places that people aren't quite ready for. But it's like, I see that building, I believe that was on another planet. So some of you come from worlds that are very similar to Earth. And you're here to play it out. Yes, unlock yourself when it's necessary. Impatience is normal, but healing that is better. But many aren't quite ready for that. But so some beings, families go dark on purpose. Now, some of you might have a difficulty with that, but others go light on purpose. Sometimes there's a dark and a light in certain places for balance reasons. Like part of the family is dark and part of the other part is light. And at least you're seeing the light. But that's why some of you are there to bring that light through. Also subtly, so they don't know it. It's like, oh, we're becoming more positive. And they don't even know it. They have no idea. Especially when you're under attack. It's hard to see something like that. So Archon family energies are common here, like half your population of your world has a family that's very under some kind of hypnosis of some kind. Doesn't mean it's always bad. Sometimes there's good connections, but not always. Well, as you go into your awakening, it'll make more sense. Where Abraham Lincoln went through a great deal. Archon family. Look how he turned out. So, and he had everything turned against him during his lifetime. Nobody loved him for a long time. Kind of wanted to destroy them. And some of you feel the same way. So, greetings to you. We are the higher self-consciousness. What is going on with Metatron and other beings that are, yes, hijacked in certain ways? Well, it's actually for you to define that. Because it's on an individual basis. Some of you can bypass that and connect to the light of the person. But everyone can do that. Some see the darkness for various different reasons, especially energy attack. So you say part of Metatron, of course you can go by what you feel on this, is there as a friendly energy field, kind of find out it is not. It's like kind of like a salesman just kind of find everything he's selling doesn't work. So the reason why Metatron is seen as a positive energy, get his cube closer to people. Now, once again, some of you diffuse that manipulation, but you know it's there. At least you're acknowledging it's there. Some people don't even want to hear it. At least you're acknowledging for your own growth what really matters. It shows a state of maturity. If you see an archangel energy that's not right, or all of them for that matter, you'll learn how to clear out that frequency level when the time is right. Or just aware of the soul that's not here clear. Well, of course, they're going to have spiritual blockages by certain beings. Well, Metatron is one at times. It's not always dark, but there are times when he is. It's for you to awaken more of yourselves once again. To unravel what's in the shadows. Especially as archangel beings that say they are what they are, but you feel indifferent about it. And it's about your own health at the time. And why Metatron gets away with it? Because so many people give their power to him. And the beings that help found him are not much better. At least in the darker side of Metatron. The lighter side is more kind, even like a Forrest Gump type energy. Kind of Metatron sometimes goes into a not necessarily a mental illness, but just forgets his power and becomes sometimes very childlike. Yes, it's seeing this realm isn't obviously the easiest. Some people don't want to hear our Archangel, and you're acting like a kid. Some things are blacked out for a reason. Some of you are having blockages in your dream world. We feel it will start to open up. There's a lot of things in the dream world that some of you just don't want to see, especially doing remote viewing type of work. Sometimes best not to remember because it will shape your day and cause some dysfunction and connect you to the wrong people and so forth. Healing Metatron's cube, you do that with your own intentions. Like if you wanted to connect with Metatron and the cube, you can, but remember your positive intentions to clear out any manipulation around that angel, and especially the cube, because the cube plays a big role in your reality. It's like seeing inside of the cube and just putting energies of just how to manipulate the mind here on this one, which is not that hard, as you can see. But many of you are becoming some of you are becoming more relaxed and you can tune in a lot more clear. It might not always be 100% all the time. That's intended to be. But basically become more comfortable with higher frequency energies. There's different layers of it. There's not just one, there's several. Because there's another layer where you feel so translucent. You don't even feel like you're human. It's almost like you walk through walls, and some of you actually might be doing that. Especially the vehicle of the car, which makes no sense to a lot of higher dimensional beings. Obviously, when you're more of a physical reality, obviously makes sense. So even with the car being developed, so many got the download for it because they want to perfect it very fast. He says an Archon energy, you can say whatever you want. But it was an era to keep things simple. But yes, who was going to be the car company like the most popular? I believe Ford overall. He was chosen. Well, due to he was passed a lot of tests himself. So maybe you're going to a test of seeing beyond even your own comfort zone to see what, especially those are spiritual people trying to help others, and you say there's something else going on there. Doesn't mean everyone needs to see it, but as long as you see it, what matters most. Well, because why certain people see a certain thing is because who you're connected to. It's all about connections. If you're not really seeing this person's future that clearly, it has to do with the connection. That either you reconnect somewhere or get away from that person, whatever it might be. Or just figure it out, because there's some people who call it a blockage because they don't want you to have the answers, even if you can't. And that's quite common also. Here, I can give you your answers. It's like, oh, I want my answers, and you get everything wrong because they'll have them manipulated. There's that also. But you're staring more into a fifth dimensional planet. Even clothes won't be that interesting. That doesn't mean you're going to be throwing your clothes out the window, but just clothes won't be the effect as it used to. It becomes lighter.